Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson here from ZeldaDungeon.net, here to show you where to find all 45 pieces of heart found within the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It takes 5 pieces of heart to form a heart container in this game, meaning that there are a total of 9 heart containers that you can form out of this fun collectible. The first piece of heart you can find in the game is found within the central part of Faron Woods. In the northwest corner is a dark cave with a few enemies in here, as well as a chest containing a small key that you will need to enter the deeper parts of Faron Woods. Now the earliest time you can get this is when you are rescuing Mallow and the monkey near the beginning of the game. But if you come back here later to get it though, there will be purple fog that is throughout the area, making it unpassable. However, you can use your lantern to disperse the fog. This will allow you to get over to the cavern, so do that if you are getting this heart piece later. Inside, you want to light both the torches with your lantern, creating a large chest on the upper ledge containing a piece of heart. There are 2 pieces of heart found within each dungeon. The first piece of heart found within the Forest Temple is off to the east side of the dungeon, if you're playing the Wii version that is, in the room with all the bomblings and Deku-likes. On this upper ledge in this room you can jump across, but the Deku-like will reach up and grab you. However, there is a bombling that is right next to the ledge here. You want to pick it up and drop it over the edge into the mouth of the Deku-like, which will then swallow it and explode. You want to open the large chest that is behind it to get a piece of heart. Now alternatively, you can return here when you have regular bombs and use those on the Deku-like as well. Unfortunately, after you beat the dungeon, you will no longer have the monkeys there to help you get back to this side, so you'll have to return here later when you have the claw shot in case you missed this piece of heart. Now the second piece of heart that is found within the Forest Temple is in the room with all the tile worms, also on the east side of the dungeon. Once you have acquired the Gale Boomerang, you can use it to bring them out of the floor and defeat them. You want to use the Gale Boomerang to blow out the torches that are in this room to lower all of the wooden platforms, revealing a hidden alcove that was blocked off before that we couldn't access. You want to open the large chest to get a piece of heart. Once again, if you don't get this while you were within the Forest Temple the first time, the monkeys will no longer be there to help you get over to this east side of the dungeon, so you have to return once you have the claw shot, unfortunately. In the portion of Hyrule Field that is just north of Faron, there's a bridge near the middle. Just south of this bridge is a tree at the corner, and if you look up, you'll see that there's a piece of heart in its branches. You want to use the Gale Boomerang to bring it down. In Kakariko Gorge, which is in between Kakariko Village and Faron Woods, there's a lone island that is off in the abyss, off to the east, if you're playing the Wii version of course. You want to stand near the edge and you'll be able to see that on top of the island is a piece of heart. You want to use the Gale Boomerang to bring it down. Once you have removed Twilight from the Eldin province and gotten Epona back, you can return to Ordon Village and go to the ranch to the far south. During the day you can speak with Fado to play a little minigame, herding the goats for old time's sake. The trick to completing this minigame is to use the swooping motion to get behind the goats, and then only pressing A to whoop once you have all the goats facing the correct direction. If they're facing the wrong way and you whoop, you'll scare them off into all the corners of the area, and it's really a big pain. So you want to only whoop once you have them facing the correct direction. You have 3 minutes to herd 20 of them, which you should easily be able to do. Once you've completed it within the time limit, Fado will reward you with a piece of heart. The first piece of heart found within the Goron Mines is in the room where you walk around on the ceiling. It's just outside the room with the first Goron Elder. To the far northwest corner is a dead end, as you can see on your minimap, and this one leads to a platform, however, that has a large chest containing a wonderful prize. The second piece of heart is pretty easy to find. North of the central chamber is a room filled with water, where you hit a crystal switch to open a gate temporarily. You run into this area with 2 Beamo statues and some goblins. And just on the right side of this room is a magnetic wall that you can use to climb up with the iron boots. Do so and walk to the south, where you'll find a platform with a large chest. Once you have completed the Goron Mines and have acquired the Hero's Bow, there's a few pieces of heart you can gather here in Kakariko Village. At the highest point in the village to the north, you can speak with the Goron here to get shot up to the top of the ledge, and then climb up the ladder to get to the top of the building where Tallow is watching out for monsters. You can chat with him now and he'll ask you to show him how to shoot the bow. If you say yes, you'll be taken down near the spring to the south end of the village, where Mallow will have you shoot at 2 targets. One of them is pretty close, the other one is pretty far away, and after which, Tallow will then yell at you to shoot at a tiny pole that is at the corner of the building that he's standing on at the far north of the village. It's not as hard as it looks. You simply want to aim carefully at the corner of the building itself, and then aim up a little bit and release. Just be sure to pull the bowstring all the way back, and you should get it just fine. As a reward, Mallow will then be impressed, and he will give you a piece of heart. Now once you have purchased bombs from Barnes' shop here in Kakariko Village, you can combine them with your bow by pressing Z when selecting them in the items menu. You want to do so to form bomb arrows, which you can then use to blow up the boulders that are up on this upper ledge at the corner, just above the Eldin Spring to the south end of the village. There's a little piece of heart this will reveal. You want to use the Gale Boomerang to gather it. Also in this area, there is a boulder that is just underneath that you can blow up with bombs or bomb arrows, and follow this path. This very obviously leads back there. There's some cuckoos and stuff back there, but it leads down to the actual spring itself, where you can hop in and use the iron boots to sink down. At the bottom, you can open the large chest to get a piece of heart. Now, you can do this before you have the Zora armor, and if you do that, then just make sure you take off the iron boots and then press A repeatedly to swim up very quickly, so that way you can get out before you drown. In the portion of Hyrule Field just north of Kakariko Village, there's some boulders in the rocky areas to the south. You want to use bombs to blow up the boulders, and then climb the very obvious path. Partway, you'll have to use some bomb arrows to blow up the boulders that are on the next ledge, then jump over to grab onto the vines. You want to climb up and work your way jumping down the platforms until eventually you get to a large chest containing a piece of heart. And once you have cleared the Lanayru province of Twilight, there's actually several things that are now available to us in this province. You want to play Falby's Flight by Fowl in Lake Hylia, and use the Cuckoo to get to the Isle of Riches, the second to top tier, the one that isn't spinning that is, which has a large chest on top of it. You want to hold back on the analog stick to slow down the chicken, and land gracefully on the small platform. Open the large chest to get a piece of heart. In Hena's fishing hole in Upper Zora's River, there's a piece of heart that is on the island in the center of the pond. There's two ways you can get to it, actually. You can either stand on the land and Z-target it with the Gale Boomerang to retrieve it, or you can rent a boat from Hena's, and then you can use the fishing rod to retrieve it. In Castletown, there's an old dude with a beard named Charlo who is near the eastern exit, and if you speak with him, he'll ask you to donate for the sake of peace in Hyrule. A little vague, but if you fork over 1,000 rupees, you'll be gifted with a piece of heart from the heavens. Who says you don't get paid back for doing good? The first piece of heart found in the Lakebed Temple is in the central chamber with the rotating stairway. Once you have acquired the claw shot, you want to use it on the targets above the chandelier in the center of the ceiling, and once atop it, you can open the large chest for this prize. The second piece of heart can only be gotten at the end of the temple. After you have restored water that is flowing from both sides of the dungeon, you want to return to the middle and rotate the stairs so that the water flows to the lower west side, one of the first areas we went to in this dungeon. With the water raised in this room off to the far west, assuming you're playing the Wii version that is, it will lift up the bridge that is leading up to an alcove that we couldn't access before. You want to step on the switch in there to open up the gates up ahead, and then use the claw shot on the target that is inside to get over there before the gates close. There's also a little Zalfus in here as well that you'll have to defeat. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and open the large chest to get a piece of heart. In the Sacred Grove, there's a circular area where you fought Skull Kid for the first time, and once you have acquired the Master Sword, you can enter the side area and now you'll be able to use bombs. You want to do so to blow up the boulder. It is in the center here, and it will reveal a Poe as well as a hole in the ground that you can see while using your senses. So you want to transform into a wolf, you want to use your senses, dig down into the cavern that is full of Baba serpents. Once you have defeated all of them, then a large chest will appear on this ledge containing a piece of heart. So if you fail to get this the first time you enter the Sacred Grove, don't worry, because you can always return here later once you've acquired the warp portal for the Sacred Grove. So you'll come here later on in the game, and you will get a warp portal here, so don't worry if you miss this right now, you can always get it later. Once you have completed the Lakebed Temple and acquired the Master Sword, you want to return to Lake Hylia and enter the Lanayru Spring. You can go to either the left or the right side and use the claw shot to get across to the other side using the vines. So you want to claw shot to them, climb up, this will allow you to get access the southern platform that leads to a door to the south. In this little room, you'll find a bunch of serpent statues that are surrounding it, as well as some chests. Those aren't really what interests us, though. Instead, you want to use the lantern to light the two unlit torches here, creating a large chest in the center that contains a piece of heart. In the southern portions of Lake Hylia are some upper platforms that you can access by climbing up the ladder somewhat near the warp portal. The far southern wall has a boulder that is blocking a cave, so you want to blow it up with bombs. Inside is a very dark, very lengthy cavern, so you'll need your lantern pretty much the entire time. At the very end of this incredibly long cavern, in the final room, you'll be able to light two torches with your lantern to create a large chest in the center, containing a piece of heart. You can technically get this piece of heart as soon as you can enter the Lanayru province in your Hylian form and have bombs, but I recommend actually waiting until you have the Master Sword so that you can get the Poe Souls that are here as well. No use going here twice, you know. Also in Lake Hylia are these patches of hot grass, and there's some near Fire's Cannon, near the center of the lake, but there's also some to the far west side of the lake. I mean, assuming you're playing the Wii version, of course, it'll be the far east side if you're playing the GameCube version. You want to approach any of them as a wolf, and Plum will appear. And this colorful bird has a mini-game for us, in which we try to pop balloons that look like fruit. We'll ride a Kargarok, very similar to how we rode a Shadow Kargarok when Lineru was covered in Twilight. We were collecting the insects. Now, the trick to beating this game is to only get one type of fruit, since each time you get a combo of the same type, it multiplies the point you receive up to a max multiplier of 10. Unfortunately, the big watermelons will never get you any prizes, but 15 of the oranges will easily get you over 10,000 points. You can also shoot for 10 strawberries, which will do the same. But those are a bit harder, so either way you choose, you only have to get up to 10,000 points, so you technically don't even have to get them all. Just get enough to get enough points so you can get the prize. If you get up to 10,000 points or higher, Plum will reward you with a piece of heart. After completing the Goron mines, then the Gorons that are in Kakariko Village and on Death Mountain are friendly again, and several of them will help you to reach areas that were previously inaccessible. About halfway up the mountain itself is one of these Gorons. You want to speak with him, hop onto his back, and then turn off to the side instead. When he launches you up, you want to grab onto the ledge and pull yourself up to access this area that has all these hidden goodies. There's a pulsel up here as well, but to the north you can follow this upper ledge, and eventually you will come to an alcove in the wall. You want to hop down and open the large chest to get a piece of heart. You can technically get this piece of heart just after completing the Goron mines, but I'd like to wait until, we have the Master Sword, just so that way we can get the pulsel at the same time. Personal preference, whatever you want to do. To the far south of the Kakariko Gorge is a boulder that is blocking a cave. You want to blow it up and go inside, and this cave is really dark. You have to use your lantern and stuff, but it twists all around and it leads to all sorts of dead ends. And you can follow them, but most of them only lead to rupees. There is a pulsel in here as well, but you can just follow my mini-map here on the left here, and to get to this area with a Scotula. Once you have defeated it, light both of the torches that are unlit here, and this will create a large chest that contains a piece of heart. This next piece of heart is located just north of the Bridge of Eldin. The bridge itself was warped to Gerudo Desert, and it's on top of the Gerudo Mesa itself. So if you have that warp portal, you can just go to the top of the Gerudo Mesa and warp the bridge back here. I find it amazing how often I get asked where that stupid bridge is. Anyway, you can either use the warp portal to the Bridge of Eldin, or you can go the long way around, especially if you want to do it before going to the Gerudo Desert. You're going to have to go through North Hyrule Field, and then once you ride Opponent or something and go all the way to just above the Bridge of Eldin. So once you get to the north of the bridge, then you want to use the claw shot on the target that is on this upper path to find a cave that is to the far west. Now inside you can go through these several different floors, dropping down and using the iron boots to attach to the magnetic walls. Just follow the very obvious path, and eventually you'll come to a large chest at the very bottom containing a piece of heart. After getting the Master Sword, there is a side quest in Kakariko Village, repairing the bridge between Kakariko Village and Castletown, and then moving Malamart to Castletown. As part of this quest, you can optionally bring hot spring water to a Goron that is on the bridge that we made. Now for doing this, you will greatly reduce the cost of moving Malamart, so it's well worth it. I recommend doing it, and I recommend simply walking along, walking the hot spring water along the lower portions of this field to the south to avoid most of these enemies, because it makes this much easier. You'll have way less enemies to deal with, and it'll be a lot less stressful. When you finally get to the Goron, just toss the spring water on him before it cools down, and he'll be revitalized, rolling back to Kakariko to get more spring water to sell in Castletown. Now for more information concerning the side quest, since it's a lengthy process, just check out the first two videos of Chapter 12 of our video walkthrough, or go to our website at www.zeldadungeon.net and check out our Malamart and Magic Armor guide, which explains it in great detail. And when the Goron rolls all the way back, he'll then gift you with a piece of heart. Yes! Well guys, that's about all the time I have for this video, so join me for the second half of this Pieces of Heart guide, where I will show you the locations of the remaining Pieces of Heart.